Our Lord and Savior Gaben has banned crypto, blockchain, and NFT games on their wonderful gaming platform Steam. A win for the common man, for gamers everywhere. Which is why in this video series, I'm going to be playing every single NFT and blockchain game on Steam.
Wait, what? What do you mean? I thought you just said...
Yeah, I know what I said. Unfortunately, there are some roaches out there that have very cleverly, or in more simpler terms, very easily bypassed Steam's ban by just not having them in there directly. Like, they're all still in there, you just can't buy them in-game. So yeah, not the most thought out rule. But luckily for us, there's a Steam curator out there keeping the land of Steam safe by diligently marking these games as blockchain or NFT games as they make their way onto Steam. Unfortunately for me though, there are more than 60 of them, and I'm going to be playing every single one. Well, not really. A lot of them are still in the coming soon stage, so it's more like most of them. Some of them. Look, I'm gonna be playing them. Not in a deep dive kind of way, just a brief look because the less I have to play, the better. Also, if they're fully released on other platforms but not on Steam, I still won't be playing them because I want to see the Steam version with the NFTs removed, quote unquote. Anyways, without further ado, welcome to a mini-series where I play all the Steam NFT games so you don't have to. I don't have an intro for this, so let's just get on to the first game. Oh, Baby Kart is a kart racer boasting over 100 plus karts and 100 plus challenges. Sitting on very positive with 176 reviews, it fully released on Steam on the 9th of October 2024, which makes it one of the very rare non-early access NFT games. Prior to being fully released, however, this game used to actually cost real money, sitting at around 24 Australian dollar dues. But when they realized that everyone would rather spend hundreds of dollars to buy a Nintendo Switch and Mario Kart, they made the wise decision to make it free to play. Kind of. You're still locked out of, and I quote, the majority of current and future content until you buy something, but this update did help. A little bit. Before the free-to-play change, it peaked at a whopping 27 players, and after it peaked at 56. So a 100% increase. Good for them. Sucks for the people who spent $24 on this game though. Could have bought Garfield Kart instead. What about the game though? Well, let's just say I really feel bad for anyone who spent $24 on this. Because, unsurprisingly, this game is real bad. It looks and feels like a mobile game. But a $24 mobile game? Absolutely not. First off, the tutorial. It sucks. It just tells you the bare basics and not even on a track, just this store-bought, generic asset looking place, where the tutorial pop-ups take over your entire screen without pausing the game, so you can keep going and trigger other tutorials before the first one disappears. You only get a handful of characters, which are the only things that determine your stats, not your carts or engine like in Mario Kart, so barely any customization there. But if you wanted to get new characters, you either have to wait for the store to refresh, or instead I assume you would have to go on their NFT marketplace and buy them there. Which, by the way, they managed to snag some collabs with IPs such as Invader Zim, SpongeBob, Tower of God, and even the VTuber Fillion. I guess they put that $6 million to good use. Oh, did I forget to mention? This game raised $6 million in funding. Yeah. Other than those ones, the rest of the characters are just your generic crypto, NFT bro, and stock memes, which only NFT bros will understand. But as we all know, they don't actually play video games, so who's this for? The gameplay is super generic and slow. I didn't see a CC selection like in Mario Kart, but if there is one, I couldn't find it. So this is how slow I played the game. Items are uninspired, just copying better kart racers. Mechanically, it doesn't do anything different other than the characters having an ultimate that you can sometimes use if the race lasts long enough. The maps, visually, are low quality and design-wise they are pretty boring, barely having any interesting obstacles or pathways. Also, even with the slow speed, they're really short. Like, there were barely any twists and turns for drifting. In fact, there's one map I played where you had to just get to the end, and since it was only one lap, it ended in less than a minute. By the way, Oh Baby Kart is 14 gigabytes, which is about the same size as Mario Kart 8, so make of that what you will. This game is not good. It's not the worst, although if you pay $24 for this, then this game actually is the worst. Honestly, I'd rather just play Garfield Kart over this, it's only a couple of dollars. The Bornless is an action horror FPS based around Lovecraftian lore. It's a PvPvE game similar to Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. I think. I can't really confirm since this game is not out yet, but they do describe the general loop of a match. Loot and explore, use rituals to get upgrades, then summon the demon, kill it, then extract. It seems to lean more towards Hunt Showdown in that case. Honestly, reading the plan for this game, it doesn't sound too bad, however since they are an NFT blockchain dev, you can never be too sure, and obviously you can claim anything on the store page. At the very least, the game is still getting announcements on Steam, with a playtest that was held recently in early March, but that's all for the game, since it's not out yet. But before we go, I want to show you all this. The developers really don't want people to call their game a blockchain game, but they put things pretty succinctly in their TLDR for the question of, is this a blockchain game? Basically, yes. Yep, that's all I needed to know. We get the typical response of it's all optional like every damn NFT and blockchain game out there. But they assure us that the blockchain tech will only be used on the website, so you can trade cosmetics via the blockchain for safety. Yeah, I don't buy that at all. They also don't refer to their cosmetics as NFTs, so hopefully it won't be. But they do have an NFT collection which they claim to have been for initial funding. I'm sure it was. Okay, first off, just because you say the blockchain and NFT stuff is optional, doesn't excuse the fact that they're still in there, and that they exist purely for the game, which means by definition your game is an NFT and blockchain game. Otherwise, what exactly would be the point in them? Their value and utility is tied directly to the game. Also, using the blockchain to trade cosmetics? Why? Would that not incur gas fees which happen anytime there's a transaction on the blockchain? I don't understand. Do you want people to have to spend money each time they trade a digital item, or are the devs gonna cover the cost? It doesn't seem feasible and honestly just sounds really stupid. As for their NFT collection, which are just these coin things, you can buy them for as low as $600 and as high as 1.7 thousand. They're the exact same coin by the way, so there you go. But because of the need for the blockchain, I'm gonna go ahead and assume your cosmetics will be NFTs, and because you put this functionality on the website instead of in-game, I'm gonna further assume you did this to skirt Steam's rules on NFT and blockchain. Very sneaky. But yeah, these guys really don't want people to see that their blockchain and NFT game is a blockchain and NFT game. But rest assured, it is 100% a blockchain and NFT game. In fact, make it 120%. Anyways, on to the next game. Degenheim is a 4-player co-op isometric roguelike and honestly doesn't look too bad, but of course this game is not out yet. Luckily however, Degenheim did release a demo late last year, so we do have something tangible to look at. But before we do though, let me just quickly get all the NFT stuff out of the way. 1. They say any and all blockchain stuff is completely optional or, in Steam's case, not allowed. 2. Their NFTs, which are these Degenheim passes, exist so that when you buy one at the low price of $3, you can get extra rewards in-game. In other words, playing the Steam version where NFTs aren't allowed will always put you at a disadvantage compared to the NFT-enabled version, so you're always going to be playing the lesser version here on Steam. As a reminder, this is how these games are bypassing Steam's ruling and making their way onto Steam in the first place. The NFTs themselves aren't technically being purchased or traded in the game. All of it is either being done on the Epic Games version, their website like what the Bornless devs are doing, or whatever third-party client they choose to host the game on. But don't worry though, these devs, as with every NFT dev out there, want you to know that the crypto, blockchain, and NFT crap is all completely optional. But as we've seen time and time again, if you don't interact with it, you'll usually have a significantly worse time than those who do. Almost like it's mandatory and not optional or something, if you wanted to have fun that is. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's check out their demo. Right from the start, I have to say the presentation is not that bad. The art style looks okay. Clicking start, we get a small cutscene that has, well, I guess you could call it voice acting.
No, you're not. Let's get it.
Then we have to connect to their game servers, which is odd since this is a demo, but we get presented with this game's sense of humor. Degenerating environments. The normal ones are too boring. Warming up servers. They are really cold, Equipping up items, because who likes shitty damage? And help me stepbro, said none of our servers ever. What does that even mean? Also, we get a look on some of the colorful characters, such as Techno Viking, a giant ape, a giant strawberry, and famous Home Alone star and 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Oh, excuse me, Donald Pump. I wonder if that's a reference to his various meme coins that he pumped and dumped. We go into the tutorial and meet the giant strawberry known as Strawberry. Okay, very random magical being, huh? Anyways, moving on, we get told the controls. WASD movement, left click attack, right click special attack, space to dodge, and F is ultimate attack. Seems simple enough. We finish the tutorial and immediately go into a stage. A 20-stage survival where we kill waves of enemies and get upgrades after each stage. The upgrades are similar to what you'd find in Hades, with upgrades to dash, primary and special attacks, passives, and so on. Honestly, it's not too bad, but very quickly the game became repetitive. See, the stages are all the same, mechanically. Visually they change between chapters, but the shape and size is always the same. It's either a box or a box with a hallway in the middle. They do introduce different enemy types, but not until chapter 2. But there's still more variety here than in Wanderers. In fact, let me just say, this game is infinitely better than Wanderers. The special upgrades are also mainly the same, with the only difference being the element you get on it. So every dash upgrade is the same, primary and special the same, you get the idea. Although there is a decent amount of elements which you unlock the further you go along, like fire doing dots, lightning doing chain damage, bleed doing bigger dots, frost slowing down enemies, etc. Every so often you do get random stage hazards like Hurry Flurry, where toilets spawn and slow you down if you're close by, literal toilet humor, Destroy Uranus, where you have to kill Uranus in order to get a buff, and Big Black Cock, where a chicken damages you if you're close by. Cringe is the word that springs to mind, but humor is subjective and I'm sure someone finds this funny. The game does break the monotony up with a boss battle in stages 10 and 20, and unlike Wanderers, they don't take 10 minutes to beat, but they do still fall under the cringe humor, with Bad Beach Pussy and Sugar Grandpa. They do have a few frames of pictures when introducing a boss, which is cool, but what the hell is going on with this cage? Where is this frame going? I don't want to assume anything, but this is just bad. Anyways, beating or losing a stage, you're rewarded with currency, and go into the main hub getting introduced to characters such as StatCat.ai, Napoleon Born to Party, Hank the Dank Trainer, who is your meta progression where you buy upgrades at random, odd choice, Pietro the Sartorial Prodigy where you equip items that I don't remember getting, but hey, that's cool, Grimoire of Skill Issues where you can view leaderboards, Stefan the Bartender, where you can change and unlock characters, Brick Astley, where you can unlock an extra ability, which are just memes like Pepe Punch, This Is Fine, and Puffy Oil? Are you fucking serious? Anyways, I try the next chapter and choose a higher difficulty, because why not? And do the same thing over again. Like I said, repetitive. Except this time the floor is a similar color to the enemy telegraphs, so it's harder to see them. Look, I don't think this game is particularly bad. It's way better than Wanderers, and the fact that I can get everything, so far, with just in-game currency is awesome. I just don't really know where the NFTs will fit in all this, and why. This game, as cringy as it is, I can at least call a video game. It really didn't need NFTs or crypto put into it. It's a shame. Anyways, I continue playing until I unlock all the characters, and while I did get kind of impressed with Stacy and how she actually played differently to the first guy, I quickly found out that the characters are pretty similar to each other in terms of attacks. The primary attack is either a shot forward or a swing, the special is a bigger shot forward, and the ultimate is either an explosion centered on the character or a big aura that does damage. So in reality, there's really only two characters. Also, I did have a pretty funny encounter where I picked Donald Pump and he went up against Melon Musk. Is this foreshadowing? I don't know, but it's probably the only time I laughed at this game, so there you go. Anyways, after about half an hour of playing, the game crashed and I stopped recording. The game itself is honestly fine, mainly repetitive and with cringy humor. But of all the NFT games I've played, this one is probably one of the best, and it's just a demo. Surely you can only go up from here. /S. Although the bar is set pretty low though, so make of that what you will, but anyways, on to the next game. Parallel is a free-to-play digital card game built on a thrilling sci-fi universe. Collect cards, build decks, and battle your peers in a strategic battle for control of Earth. Sounds exciting, but unfortunately this game is not out yet, on Steam, and has absolutely no information on a possible release date, just having a coming soon, with the discussions tab on the community hub having 2 posts pointing out that this game is just a crypto NFT game and should be blocked, which I wholeheartedly agree with. This game is actually playable on the Epic Games Store as well as on their website, but as you can see, there isn't even a link on the Steam store page. So I have a feeling they don't plan on releasing on Steam anytime soon, or ever, considering this is a trading card game where the NFTs are the whole selling point. I honestly doubt the studio even has any idea on how to put this onto Steam without any of the NFT integration, so, you know, just take down the store page at that point. Anyways, the NFTs are your typical trading card implementation. You buy packs with real money, get cards with artificial scarcity, so that you can trade with other players using crypto. They have about 1,565 unique cards, which is pretty impressive. Whether or not they're AI generated, I'll let you decide on that. It would be cool if they hired actual artists for all their cards, but you never know with crypto bros. According to OpenSea, there's about 5.9 million items, with many of the items having tens of thousands of copies, which kind of defeats the purpose of NFTs and the whole uniqueness aspect, no? But what do I know? I'm just a filthy hater. Cheapest card goes for around 80 cents and most expensive is $48,000. So quite the gap. Welcome to the crypto market, baby, where people sell easily replicated digital items for the price of a brand new car. Also, the trading activity fell off pretty hard compared to when they first started, but there are still people trading for them, so good luck to anyone still holding onto these cards. To the moon, or whatever. Phantom Galaxies. This is a game I briefly touched on in the Wanderers episode, where I covered the devs, Blowfish Studios, and quickly went through Phantom Galaxies NFT stuff, so feel free to check that video out. And I also played the Epic Games version on stream. Feel free to also check that out. It wouldn't let me get past the tutorial. But here's hoping the Steam version is fixed. Although their last game update to this game was on October 30th, 2024, so probably not. Phantom Galaxies still has a mostly negative score of 731 reviews. It's still in early access and on SteamDB had an all-time peak of 748, then almost immediately dropped to 56 and had a steady decline to single-digit players. The 24-hour peak is 2, with one of them being me. Oh boy. Anyways, let's check out the Steam version of this game, which by the way is 28 gigabytes. Jesus Christ, this is the second time I've had to download this damn game. I already know it's not worth it, but now you guys get to enjoy it. Here it is, Phantom Galaxies. Before you get impressed by the visuals, just know that these are all store-bought assets, so big praise to the asset creators themselves, not so much Blowfish Studios. Alright, let's begin. You first have to create our character, and what a character creator. You get a selection of 2 genders with 4 genetic bases. Each genetic base has a wide selection of 2 faces, as well as a specific range of skin tone. So if you wanted to be black or white, you'd have to pick your specific genetic base. You also get to pick from the amazing selection of 3 whole hair colors, such as red, blonde, and brown. And wait for it, 4 entire hairstyles per gender. Wow, 8. Anyways, enough sarcasm, I just regenerate my avatar and choose whatever it gives me. Time to enter the world. We get a cutscene with terrible pop-in, and here is why the game is 28 gigabytes, with massive empty spaces to give the illusion of content. Ubisoft, eat your heart out. We end up in the hangar with a daily rewards pop-up. No thanks. I'm uninstalling this game ASAP. I walk around a bit, find the NPC, and continue the tutorial. Target practice. This game surprisingly has voice acting, but it'll randomly cut out or just not have any in the middle of speaking. I'll show you that later. The game gives us a choice of 2 whole mechs. They taunt us with 4, but we have to finish the tutorial, wink, to get them. We get Assault, which is balanced, and Buster, which is slower but stronger. I pick Buster. I accidentally moved the mouse faster than the tutorial can appear, and I'm stuck turning, which is pretty funny. But very quickly I realize how sensitive the controls are. Now, forgive me, I haven't played many spaceflight games, but my god is this game's turning vomit-inducing. Turning has a weird mass acceleration effect, where it'll be very slow for a second, then immediately ramp up. And god forbid you're moving or strafing because the speed cap is much higher than when standing in place. It's not too bad when motionless, but the moment you're in flight, it goes nuts. Looking up and down is no better. It feels terrible. It may not look too bad, but trust me, it feels bad. We get more tutorials on boosting and heat, which is a bar that increases during stress or combat, which enhances our ability. Seriously, trying to fine-tune movements while in motion is impossible. It's either no movement or all the movement. This game also has a stutter problem. Anytime anything happens, the game gets micro stutters. Shoot down an enemy, stutter. You use an ability, stutter. I swear I felt sick afterwards. Anyways, we shoot down some drones and get told to dodge roll, and the game does not like that. Once again, stutters. We're told to use some abilities with 1 and 2, plus an ultimate ability. Also, you can completely ignore the tutorial. You can just shoot the drones and turrets down and it'll still count. We get introduced to the mecha aspect, and honestly, the only difference in this mode is that the camera is locked to our mouse and that we can use melee. That's it. Basically, no other difference than that. Also, here's the voice acting just cutting out. I thought that was it for the VA, but the next line he talks as usual.
Over. Roger that, Penaway.
So I guess they just left that part out. We finish the first part, talk to him again with no voice acting, and move on to the next guy who does have voice acting.
Finally getting your space legs under you.
The eyes on these characters are terrifying. They look as dead as my soul after playing an NFT game for more than a minute. I guess even they know they're in an NFT game. Sucks to be them. Next tutorial, I choose Assault this time, and look, we get to see the 2 locked mechs, but we can't inspect them, so I just move on. We get a choice of making a public space or a private mission. I choose public in the off chance I meet someone. Now, look very carefully. They tell me to go to an asteroid and hold the X button while in ship form to bring out the mining tool. You can see me on the bottom left, I'm doing just that, and nothing. And this is exactly where I stopped on stream. I couldn't bring my mining laser out no matter where I was. If I right click to try and highlight the asteroids, it just turns me into a mech. So this is where my adventures end. 3 separate times I've tried and nothing. I'll concede and say it's probably just my own incompetence. Maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, couldn't get past this point. So there you have it. Phantom Galaxies. Play this game if you ever need to throw up. Champions Ascension. Apparently it's a video game. I wouldn't know, it's still coming soon, but don't worry, the developers have graced us with a message. Let's see what they have to say. Riveting stuff. According to the Steam page, it's an action-packed arena RPG where you collect resources, train your champion, explore dungeons, etc, etc. I mean, looking at the trailer, it could be an okay free-to-play mobile game, but I guess we'll never know. On Steam anyways. It is, however, released on the Epic Game Store because of course it is. Their website has a banner claiming that this game is still in alpha. Now, I'm sure game development is difficult, but they released, on Epic anyways, near the end of 2023. It's been well over a year now and it's still in alpha. The game managed to raise $32 million of funding. What exactly are they doing? Why is it still in alpha? You'd think it'd at least be in beta by now. I know I'm being pedantic and petty, but I only say this because this game already has a fully functioning NFT marketplace with around 6.3 thousand items, and later we'll see this game also has microtransactions. As for the NFTs, they are animated, which is cool. It beats out a lot of other NFT collections I've seen, but they aren't totally unique however, as there are duplicate models, unless you count different colored lighting or different halos as being unique. These NFTs in particular are Prime Eternals, which are a special tier of champions which will never be issued again, so, you know, pay to win right out the gate. Cheapest one is $86 and most expensive goes for around 4.7 thousand, and yes, there are still people buying them, thanks for asking. In the activity tab there are trades happening every so often, so yes, there are people stupid enough. There's always people stupid enough. Why buy an actual video game when you can just buy whatever this is? Anyways, before we go into the next game, let me read a Steam user's experience so we too can have some understanding of this NFT grift. By Tiberius Gaben. So if you don't like microtransactions or RMT, that's real money trading, this isn't for you. Ahem. It's built on these 2 principles. There are 4 resources in this game: gold, which can be bought in-game or earned at a slow rate, tickets, which are from winning matches, bones from losing your champion, hardcore, and crypto. You can sell everything from parts to scrolls on the Matic Market, crypto market, but you need a specialist account to do so, which from what I can't tell is a few weeks of grinding or a $60 purchase. Space. You get 1 daily win reward, 1 challenge gold reward for 430 G. F you win a hardcore and don't die. Space. A base champion costs 250 gold and it's random, its strength, health, defense, and how strong it can be are all random, space. To ascend, which is like the whole point, you need crystals which you craft with the XP you level your champ with, space. Crystals determine how strong your ascension is, but is capped by part RNG on grunt generation and are themselves a RNG time sink. This game is in alpha on Epic for free and you'll barely progress if you don't buy either cryptocurrency or gold in game, space. The market is just an RMT haven. If you don't want to grind, you can just buy the best stuff in the game, no problem, all above board, space. They will tell you that you don't have to engage with the crypto system, and this might be true if you can dump 120 hours a week into this game, space. Stay away boys, it's dead. IL Hellguy. Hype! Hash whitelist diamond hand, lol, I'm so ready for it to actually be here and out on Steam XD! No, but seriously though, thank you Tiberius Gaben for your sacrifice. Reading this, it just sounds like a pay-to-win mobile game, free-to-play piece of crap, but with crypto and NFTs. So basically, it's just like every other NFT game on market. Who would have guessed? Elemental Raiders, a game that is surprisingly released, and even more surprising, is not in early access. This is a fully released game and is still getting updates even here on Steam. I'm actually impressed. Whether or not this is a good game remains to be seen, but good work Games for a Living, a studio whose name I actually recognize since I remember seeing them in my previous video where I cover studios with a secret interest in NFT and crypto games, which you should all check out if you haven't. Games for a Living is a studio that got some funding from Clash Royale's studio Supercell, so they got a pretty big name backing them. As for the game, it looks to be a turn-based 3v3 PvP game, but it does have an epic single-player campaign. So hey, at least there's some PvE in there. Elemental Raiders does have a mostly positive score, with around 73% of the 187 reviews being positive. And the reviews themselves, even the negative ones, don't mention the NFT aspect at all. So I have to wonder, what is the NFT stuff? Well, on the Games for a Living website, you can buy on their marketplace cards and characters for as low as $1 and as high as $1,000. So, glad to see the pay-to-win stuff right away. I imagine this is not available in the Steam version, which means once again, anyone playing the Steam version will be at a disadvantage. Why does this have to have NFTs and blockchain? I have no idea. But I suppose there's just no other way to do trading without the blockchain. I mean, if only there was a simpler solution without the need for crypto and the blockchain. Hell, I imagine it would be cheaper too. Oh well, I guess we'll never know. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's actually play the game. On launch, it opened at a weird resolution and asks for a username. Unlike so many NFT games on Epic, I didn't have to completely make a new account. Good work, Elemental Raiders. After I chose a username, I immediately get into a tutorial match, which is much appreciated. The game plays pretty simply as a 3v3 card battler. Every turn, each of your hero gets a card, which does a thing and costs energy, denoted on the top left of the card. With your max capacity on the bottom, that increases by 1 per turn. Matches go for around 6 rounds, and the goal of a match is to get 3 skulls, which you get every time you defeat an opponent's hero. When a hero is defeated, they get revived in the next turn, so you could theoretically bully one hero 3 times to get a victory. When you win a match, you get a loot box, which contains cards, usually duplicates, that you can use to upgrade them, which does increase their stats and potentially gain you effects. You also get some currency. Cards themselves come with a variety of effects, either buffs like taunts, debuffs like vulnerability, heals, or damage, and are specific to each hero. Each hero and card comes with an element, and do increase damage if targeting a weaker element. Basically, fire beats leaf, which beats water, which beats fire. Simple stuff. Heroes also have a bar underneath their health that builds up every time they take damage, or use their cards. Once it fills up, they can use their ultimate, which is an energy-free big effect card. And that's all there is to a match. It's not too bad, it's honestly just a bog standard mobile game. There's nothing too offensive about it, but it's also not really that interesting, so it's really just mid. Which for an NFT game is not a bad thing. Heroes can be attained mainly by getting trophies, aka playing matches, with some hero skins being only available through real money. I don't really know if these skins have a big advantage over the normal ones, all I can really see is that their main passive, I guess, is different. You can level up heroes which give them more HP and perk slots, which you can equip to buff up certain spells or stats. You can also change their skill deck, which are unlocked by playing matches. I appreciate that you can unlock most things just by playing the game, already better than most NFT games. You got your premium currency, which you can buy with real money, in-game currency, some bundles, and a battle pass, which you do get a free one, but you barely get anything in it. Also, I don't really see a way to get premium currency in-game. There is some you get as rewards, but I assume it's one time only, and you don't really get that much. so that sucks. I played a couple more matches to reach level 4 so I can do the PvE raids. It's pretty mid. You can enter 7 times a week, and you just basically fight waves of enemies. Although in the beginning of each raid you can buy temporary buffs, so that's kinda neat. Kind of has a roguelite element to it, but other than that it's pretty much the same. It's cool that there's at least a PvE element with rewards, but all in all it's just your typical mobile game. Don't know why they bothered with NFTs. This game can stand on its own, but I guess without it, this game is nothing special. Still though, it's better than most other NFT games, although I'm not really sure how big of a compliment that is. 9 Chronicles is an interesting one, because I don't think this game will ever be released on Steam, unless they change the game completely. Let me read you the description. Utilizing groundbreaking technology, 9 Chronicles is a fantasy MMORPG powered by the players, set in a world that can never be shut down, infinitely moddable and owned by the community. Now, if you're scratching your head at what that all means, let me explain. This game, 9 Chronicles, is quite literally a blockchain game. This game is wholly made on and for the blockchain. According to Magic Square, this game is fully decentralized and open source. It's apparently completely run on a peer-to-peer network of players without a central server to host. Everything from crafting an item to the battles take place on the chain. I honestly have no idea how that works out, and I'll admit it, I'm not knowledgeable enough on blockchain tech to fully comprehend what's happening. But what I do know is that everything that happens on chain, like transactions, need to be verified by nodes or people on the chain, and that costs money due to the energy costs and to reward the people doing the verification, I assume. So if everything is on the chain, and every action needs to be verified by people every time, wouldn't that cost a fortune? Who's paying for all the gas fees, which is what they're called by the way? Now don't get me wrong, it's all pretty interesting, tech-wise, but I don't see how this is feasible or sustainable. If there are any blockchain experts out there, please let me know. I'm honestly curious as to how this all works. Also, they claim that the game is infinitely moddable. How does that work? Wouldn't people be able to break the game then? I don't know. Also, things like bug fixes, content patches, how will any of that work? It's all pretty interesting, but yeah, I honestly don't know. Because the core of this game is fully on the blockchain, this will hopefully never make its way onto Steam unless they make a non-blockchain version of it, which to be fair would be pretty cool. I suppose the only reason this is on Steam in the first place is to get eyes on the project. I mean, they literally tell you to please enter your email on ... to get an invite code with an installer. How is this even allowed? With that said, this game is actually playable outside of Steam, and funnily enough, it's not on the Epic Game Store. You have to play it on either the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, or on their own website. But let me leave you all with this. A post by Kidda Has Claws. Garbage game. This is just scam game to steal your money. Stay away. It's available on their website for free. Not sure if it's against Steam TOS to even be here. Keeps running in background when you shut it down also. Yikes. Sparkball is a top-down 4v4 adrenaline-packed sports brawler that isn't out yet. But, unlike the other NFT games on this list, this actually has a planned release date of Q2 2025. This game features a pretty cool looking cast of characters with different abilities and playstyles, or so says their Steam page. You score points by getting the ball to the goal, but you can also attack other players. It actually looks kinda fun, which makes it a shame that it's going to be a crypto NFT blockchain game. Of course, there's no mention of a crypto aspect on Steam, and even on their own website, there's not even a single mention on any crypto integration. So, is this a mistake? The game isn't even launching on the Epic Game Store, only on Steam, which has banned crypto and blockchain games, so does this have NFTs or have any plans to? I had to do a bit of digging to find out. I mean, the game is constantly featured on crypto-focused websites. Initially, I found out that the game is founded by a combination of indie devs and vets from Riot and Blizzard, which is pretty massive if true, and they've even had an invitational at some point with a prize pool of 32,000. The next line, though, is curious since they claim this competition promises to keep Web3 esports enthusiasts worldwide on their toes. So, is this game a Web3, i.e. blockchain game? What I ended up finding was that this game used to go by the name of Sparkadia, and when it was still called that, they did have NFTs. And yeah, it features all of the characters that's shown on the banner, so it is the same game. But I guess after renewed support from Opti Games, they rebranded to Sparkball. According to Game3s.gg, Sparkball is holding a private sale of its token, but clicking on the link goes to an error. So I went ahead and took a look at their Discord. I found a post stating that Sparkball is the game you play and Sparkadia will instead be the global ecosystem with all the on-chain stuff. Basically, anything Web3 will happen on Sparkadia. So there you have it. I suppose that's how they'll be bypassing Steam's regulations. The game itself won't have any Web3 stuff, which is totally fine, but the ecosystem that the game is in will. I guess it's similar to what the Bornless devs are doing. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, at the end of the day, if there's absolutely zero Web3 stuff in the game itself, and there isn't some other version with NFTs, then I guess it's fine. I personally don't want to support it, but there you go. Alright, on to the next and final game for this episode. MagicCraft is a massively multiplayer PvP online MOBA game, and this game is actually released. It's still in early access, but the game is still getting updates, with the last one being on February 12th. MagicCraft sits on mostly positive, but with only 68 reviews, and according to SteamDB, it has a 24-hour peak of 3 players, with 0 players right now. Ouch. It had a peak of 53, so that's something. Weirdly enough, this game is not available on Epic, which even with crypto allowed, these guys still don't want to be on there? Is that a plus or minus for Steam? I don't know. Anyways, as for their crypto stuff, we'll have to go to their website, because of course we do. It's how they get through to Steam after all. They have a marketplace where you can buy 11 of the same character, Blazy, for various prices ranging from $50 to $4,000. I guess they're slightly different, so there you go. You have pledging, which I assume is just a different word for staking, which they do use right here, which is where you lock your coin, or in this case NFTs as well, for a certain amount of time to get rewards. I'm not too familiar with it, but that's the basic gist of it. Minting, which is putting your JPEG NFTs onto the blockchain to become purchasable, and it seems here with it you get more rewards in game, so pay to win mechanic. Nice. Knights, which is where the stupidest people who have spent the most money on JPEG NFTs can vote on key decisions on the future of the game. An oligarchy. Nice. Very timely. And finally, you can buy their coin, which is, well, it's definitely seen better days. And that is, hopefully, everything on the NFT and crypto side. Let's get into the game. Upon launch, we're greeted with a pretty bare bones menu, with a big ol' button to log in, and a server, currently set to Asia. Clicking it, they actually have 3 server regions, which is impressive. Didn't think they'd know how to do that. I have terrible ping in all of them. Welcome to living in Australia. Logging in requires me to put in an email, because of course it does. And with that, we get right into the tutorial. Hi, I'm Gale. Welcome to Emergate, yada yada yada. Mouse to control the camera, WASD movement, left shift to dodge, left click to attack, Q to use skill, and R to ultimate. Basic MOBA stuff. I finished the tutorial and I'm on my own. I click on stuff, nothing happens, and then get put into the next tutorial. An actual match. Capture and defend the points to win. What's this? They have quotes on the loading screen. When something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon Musk. Wow, such words of wisdom. Truly. When it's important, you should do it. Thank you. I never would have come to that realization myself. Anyways, this mode is exactly what it sounds like. Capture points and get to 1,000. Honestly, there's not really much to this game. There's no equipment buying, no leveling up, there's no minions or towers. It's just a 3v3 battle. Extremely bare bones, especially when compared to other free-to-play MOBAs like Dota or League of Legends. I mean, this is the type of MOBA you would find on the mobile stores. Extremely simple and quick, just enough for mobile screens. Callie makes revenge? Do they mean takes revenge? I understand. The T is real close to the M on the keyboard after all. Anyways, the match goes as expected and we win. It loads the leaderboards after the results screen and it showcases the top MCRT token earners. What? They're literally flaunting their crypto token right there. How is this allowed? I get a bunch of free stuff like graffitis and skins, which is nice of them. Wait, Doge? Pepe? Hold on one second. Nope, there he is. Doge. And, wait a minute, limited NFT skin? Donald Trump? What the fuck is happening? First of all, they're just admitting it's an NFT. And second of all, just why? Why can't these games be normal for 5 minutes? I like how the other skins are just palette swaps too. Can't even be bothered to come up with anything else. Also, I keep getting these errors for some reason. It's pretty annoying. But I don't have any other characters, so I just play another match. Escort. Push the target to the finish to win. I guess like Payload from Team Fortress 2. I get matched up with Legion X and Elmin. Potentially other players, maybe? None of them play the objectives, so they have to be real players, right? Anyways, we win, and this time I get some new characters. Didn't get any notifications or anything, I just have them now. I picked the President of the United States because, and hear me out, if they attack me, they're technically committing a federal felony, so I'm hoping this will deter them. Skull grab. Grab and hold the skulls to win. Collect the MCRT. Oh, come on. They're not even hiding it at this point. The other players have very generic names, so I guess I'm playing with bots this time. Basically, in this mode, every time someone dies, they drop skulls, or tokens, or whatever, and whichever team has 30 and holds it for 30 seconds wins the match. Looking at the game, it really is just a bog standard mobile game. I guess the character abilities are interesting, but I'm sure this is just a carbon copy of other MOBAs. There really isn't anything more to the game than this. Like I said, there's no upgrades, no leveling, nothing. I win the match and click around the menu. I check out the lobby browser and I see these non-populated servers that are Web 3? Which means blockchain, right? Which shouldn't be allowed on Steam. Hello? In the chat, there's a server message saying that in-game sales will be used to buy back tokens from the market, and that token holders will benefit. So yeah, this game actually is breaking the rules. Anyways, after about 30 minutes, I've seen it all and quit the game. An extremely bare-bones mobile MOBA with crypto bro humor. I'm sure that appeals to someone. Don't know who though. And that is 10 NFT games, or at least 5 playable ones anyways. Yeah, I didn't actually expect so many of them would still be in the coming soon phase. Since a lot of them had a Steam store page for years now, I thought they would at least be in early access. I haven't looked at any of the later games, so I apologize if these videos are mainly going to be coming soon. Also, sorry it took so long for this video. I took the month of February off and did some casual streaming. I don't have any plans on being a full-time streamer or anything, I just wanted to try it out. The VODs will be up indefinitely, so hey, if you feel like it, go check them out. It was super fun, and I wanted to thank all of you who joined and watched me be a terrible gamer. And then of course, coming up with a video idea, relearning how to edit and record, you know how it is. But I'm back to the YouTube minds playing NFT games. Fun, I guess. Also, memberships. You can do that now. I set it up a month ago and I don't really remember what was on it, but unlike NFTs in these games, membership actually is optional. I don't plan on doing any membership only stuff, it's there if you want to throw money my way, which I'd greatly appreciate. Anyways, that's the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!